So just to explain, I'm not from the region of SADC, but I come from the capital city of Africa. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about challenging status quo. First, let me introduce you to a staff of mine. Her name is Yordi, and she's a business analyst inside a company that I run, which is engaged in foreign investment advisory. So Yordi she got married about a couple of years back, and she's a new mom, and she has a new baby. So as many young, newlywed young people, young professionals in Addis, she obviously had to find with her husband a new home. So they had to move to the outskirts of Addis because that's where you can find decent yet affordable prices outside the outskirts of Addis. And that's all they could afford with her husband as young professionals. So now she lives at about 16 kilometers from the office, and in order to make it on time at the office, she has to leave her house at about 5:50 a.m. in the morning to take minibus taxis because they don't own a car yet. So 5:50 a.m., if she reaches the 6 a.m. peak, then it's very difficult to find any type of public transportation. But then again, she seems to be winning the daily battle of the commuting battle in the mornings, yet she's kind of helpless when it comes to go back home after work to her kid and to enjoy her new marriage. Because, it takes her about, I would say, for 16 kilometers distance, about 2 hours and a half, and about 95% of the time is spent queuing to get access to public transportation. So queuing has become a new trend in the Ethiopian public transportation, and under the new order of life in Addis, any person that needs access to public transportation needs to line up. So you can understand how frustrating that can be if you have to do this twice, 3 times, or 4 times a day to get from point A to point B. Next. So meanwhile, as protectionist barriers slowly decrease in emerging markets around the world, we have multinational companies rushing in to these markets in order to find new opportunities for growth. And Ethiopia is no different. For the past 6 years, as I've been advising foreign investors to come into the country, we've been trying to help them craft alongside them penetration strategies in the country, at the same time trying to find and to keep the balance of win-win both for the country and both for the companies, because these companies need to make money, but not in spite of the country. So for local consumer, this is a good news, because now they have access to a wider range of products at good prices because competition is coming into the country. However, for local businesses and local companies, it's actually at best a threat, and at worst some kind of a death sentence. And these companies have been benefiting from a highly protected market where they seem to be comfortable and they seem to be settled not to come up with new things, because anyway, the market is closed and we're the only players in it. So now they're facing foreign investors coming in with advantages. So better products, better brands, higher financial capabilities, advanced technologies, and managerial capabilities and expertise that is way better than the local companies, and well-organized organizational systems and financial systems. So it seems to be an unfair fight. It seems to be like David and Goliath. I think we all know the story. But when you're facing a giant, you only have 2 choices. So one is to keep up and innovate and kind of continue being in the fight with these heavyweights that are now in the ring with you, or be crushed. In any case, status quo is no longer an option. So I think there is a pressing need to do different and to think different. And if we keep on doing the same thing the way we always do them and settle for mediocrity, we have to understand one thing. It's the fact that some individual or some company somewhere in the world is figuring out a way of making us yesterday's business and making us obsolete. So we need to keep up with that, because what we offer today, what we provide to the market or to our customers today, we provided for less or with more value added at better margin than we do. So yeah, my question mark is slightly moved. But so how do we translate this doing different and thinking different? And I would say in the business terms, it's just a question of innovation. And innovation is just, we need to find that sweet spot that's in the middle, which is the nexus between our products, desirability and acceptance by our customers in our market, our technology's feasibility and our business's viability. So that's the center we need to find in our businesses. So innovation, I believe, starts with the identification of problems. And problems, if they're not perceived as such, then innovation, I believe, has no ground neither to be birthed nor to flourish. And I think the problem is really what triggers us to look for innovation, to look for solutions. And we, as Africans, continent-wide, including my country, we need to start facing our problems, taking the risk, and trying to find solutions for our problems instead of settling for where we are, and then when it seems to be easy to just do nothing. And I don't remember who said that, but I like the statement that says that it's in order to survive, species, the strongest species nor the wisest species are not the ones that survive, but more so the ones that adapt to change, those who adapt quickly and to change. So those are prone to adapting to change. So to survive, I would say companies need to evolve. They need to innovate. And innovation does not come by staying where we are. We need to challenge status quo and break barriers. 7 minutes already? Can I revolt against the time? Seriously, I'm not even halfway. So let me just conclude by saying something. Thank you. So I just want to say something. I think to have a successful transformation, the key is human. It's human, more human than anything else. And I believe that we've been neglecting the human side of innovation and change by investing more in new technologies, but that's not where the problem lies. And I believe a common mistake that most African countries are doing is really neglecting to work on the mindset of their people. So I would say we need to have a mindset of facing challenges, persisting against adversity, and then learning from criticism and also learning from and taking lessons and inspirations from the success and failures of others around us. And that's my last statement. I want to say my mantra. So I like this statement by Robert F. Kennedy, who said, "Few people will have the greatness to change history, but each one of us, and I mean each one of you here, will have, we can work together to change a small event, and then the total of all these acts can change and write the history of this continent." And I would say, I think it's time for us to change and come together to rewrite the narrative of Africa, because it's our Africa and it should be our story. Thank you.